You know, when I used to walk home from school as a child, I used to always think, boy, if I had a superpower, what would it be? And I think it was always the ability to fly. The ability to fly is just something so amazing that comics came up with. Strangely enough, for many years there were comic books without anyone with the ability to fly, until Superman. 90, 88, 88, 87, 87. 7, 6, 9. Amazing Spider-Man 630. Hey, this is Rick from One Stop Comics. Okay, Wonder Woman 600 second printing. I need 8. Wonder Woman 601. I'm not sure how many I got coming in. I was 8 years old when I first became interested in comics. I was at my uncle's house, and I was in his art studio, which I wasn't supposed to be in, and I was looking at this stack and stack of comic books. I went in there, and I found a nice corner, and I started reading these comic books. I was looking at this Metal Men #9, and I was amazed with these characters and the artwork and the story. And then all of a sudden, my aunt came in, screaming and yelling, "Why are you in here? No one's supposed to be in here. I caught your cousin in here the other day. You kids should be ashamed of yourself." I'd never seen her that irate in my life. And she looked and she seen me with the comic book in my hand. It was a Metal Men #9. And she turned around and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, and took a whole bag full of this stuff and gave it to me to take home. It wasn't until later that I realized the reason why she was so upset is she caught a cousin of mine in there looking through the Playboy books a week earlier. This here are the comic racks. Except for this week's new books, which we keep separate, these are all the comics from the past 6 months in alphabetical order. Adventure Comics, Age of Heroes, Amazing Spider-Man, American Son, American Vampire, Avengers, and so on and so on and so on. So we go A to G on this top row, G to P, and then P to X. If someone doesn't come in every week, this is a great place to come in and pick up the comics that you missed. Like I tell people, it's all for fun. Buy what you like. And we want to make sure we have the selection for everybody. I ended up graduating high school in 3 years, went to college for 2 years. I was still only 18 years old, and I was working at the Mercantile Exchange, and ended up going to this Carol's Left Bank bookstall. And I noticed she had an empty case. It only had like a couple old books in it, and they were there for at least 6 to 8 months. And I said, "Carol, you have these books in here. Did you ever sell any of them?" She goes, "Well, no, not yet." I said, "How'd you like to make $40 a month on this case and let me rent it?" She goes, "You want to rent the case and take it home?" I says, "No, I want to sell my doubles of comic books out of it." And she said, "Okay." Next thing you know, 33 years later, I'm still looking for a job. This is actually a copy off of a cover of a Marvel comic book with the words changed, saying, "Go on world, hurt each other, kill each other, do anything you want, because I'm going to Rick's One Stop Comics." This is actually the very first flyer. When I ended up renting the place at Carol's Left Bank bookstall, I turned around and I said, "I need a flyer." So I made this that night. And then I went and I made copies and I put them all over the poles, okay, on the way to work because I was walking. This is probably one of the most popular sections in the store for people that are way behind. Since we have the last 6 months of comics on our new comic book rack, what happens if it's 7 or 8 months old? Well, when it's over 6 months old, we take one out and we put it in the back issues. And then the other extra copies we put over here, last chance. This is our last chance to get comic books at cover price. The rarest item in my personal collection is probably 4-color #9. This is the first Carl Barks Donald Duck ever done. It is so rare that I've never seen anybody else with one. People want to say rare or valuable. There's the personal value to a person and there's the collector's value. And some of these prices they're getting on comic books are really amazing today when you start seeing comics going for over $1 million in the past year. I thought the $40 and $50 was a lot of money for a comic book. When you buy comic books, buy what you like. If you have a lot of money, go buy an expensive book. you don't have a lot of money, buy something you can afford. Basically, this is an entertainment industry. Many of my books, personally, are not in the greatest condition. I had one friend see one of my books and said, Rick, you got a better copy at the store. And I said, so? He goes, well, why don't you switch them? I says, why would I do that? He says, because the better one is at the store. Don't you want the best copy? And I says, no, I want the one that I bought off the newsstand when I was 12 years old. This is my book. I go, the one I bought once I had a store is the store's book. Oh, it's a Spider-Man #1 without a cover. Oh, my God. So people are like, well, whose is this? It's my copy. Have I ever had a better copy? Yes. And I sold it because this is original. To me, an original copy of Spider-Man 1 is an original copy. For the past 33 years, I no longer accumulate or collect comic books. Everything I own becomes property of One Stop Comics and is available for sale, which is why we have such a great selection. We approximately have about 500,000 comic books, 500,000 comics currently. I liquidate extra copies of books, so we have over 200,000 different comics. That's just if I don't buy something that week. We have stuff all over the place, but this is where I do all my fun work. This is where I price. This is where I sort. This is where I file, here and the warehouse. The back issue comics in this store consist of 260 boxes in alphabetical order, not a single book above $10. This box here, a bunch of the Spider-Mans. Matter of fact, you can go as far back. You can go all the way from 242 all the way to issue 570, all for under $10. And the cool thing is, like this one's $350, but wait, 30% off all box back issues. This sale is from now until 3001. That is when the sale ends. People say, well, I won't be around then. No, but maybe somebody will, because I don't think anybody wants to move all this stuff. Boy Commandos by Jack Kirby. Iron Man 55, first appearance of Thanos. Our Fighting Forces and Sergeant Rock. These Sergeant Rocks have become a big craze in the back issue demand lately. That a lot of these old DC war stories are being sought after. Fighting Forces #1. Now let's see, who can guess how much that costs? $1,900 for a comic book. Boy, that's a lot of money. But this is in exceptionally near mint minus condition. And this book was made November 1954. The future of comic books is really an open question. There's a lot of debate on this subject because many people think the future of comics is going to go digital, and the majority of comics will be in a digital format. Many other people think that the comic book might disappear and everything might be done in graphic novel form straight out. The big companies, obviously printing in the hundreds of thousands, are definitely trying to keep all formats open. Small creators, they're doing it because they like it. So they're going to put it out in every format no matter what. My belief is there will be many various ways that people will read comic books. They will have the option of doing it digitally, getting a hard copy of a comic, getting a graphic novel. I think the future of comics lies in a growth market of readership, of people that actually buy product because they enjoy it and they want to read it. Sometimes people wonder what original artwork looks like. This is an original art page. This is an original story of Jughead wrestling. And I believe this is a complete story of the House of Mystery. And as you notice on this thing, this is issue number 254. These are the intro pages before the story. I mean, I don't have a lot of original artwork because it's like a whole different field. But here's a nice Batman page that I liked. I like this because of the shadow and the different swirling of the cape. I think one of the greatest ideas I ever had in the comic industry was to put customer service first. My goal is to help people with their collections. I just buy everything. I buy comics, I buy cards, I buy toys. If they make it, we have it. If we don't have it, we're about to get it. If we can't get it, it's out of print. The most important thing I've done in the comic industry isn't something large. It's making sure I look at the detail and try and do all the little things to end up making the comic experience better. Anybody can go buy something, mail order, and get it sent to them. But what makes it different or unique to come into a comic store, especially one like One Stop Comics? And I think it's service. selection, and communication. People come in, they want to talk comic books. People want to start conversations that are not comics. It's okay, I'll talk to them a little bit, but I'll change the subject. Let's get back to comics. This is a comic store.